Well, we often ask for feedback and we often get it, but last Friday we received an email unlike any we've previously received from a tiny school outside Masterton. Mauriceville School is special in all sorts of ways, and they showed us that in the email they sent us. They used our interview with Nancy Voon's son, Yen, as a teaching resource, and the children discussed cause and effect, consequence, empathy, important things. Nancy, of course, is the 65-year-old Aucklander who was attacked during a carjacking last week. The children were so upset for Nancy they wanted to help her, so they sent us their project and their ideas. But first, this is what they thought about what happened to Nancy.
I'm scared because that might happen to someone in my family. I'm angry because no one in cars going past stopped to help her. No New Zealander should have went through what Nancy went through.
I feel sad because the girls did that to her.
So, the children are also sending Nancy drawings and cards, including by their drawing master, Michaela, who's going to be famous when she grows up. I asked their principal, Rebecca Stevens, via Skype to tell us all about it.
Yeah, so first we started with the interview that you did with Nancy's son, and then we had an article from a newspaper that we used as part of a reading lesson, and the older children helped the younger children to read it and understand it. So we talked about it afterwards and things like what brutal meant and kind of, you know, these kids go without food sometimes, these kids don't have iPhones, and they would never do something like that just to get what they wanted. So that was really cool. So just giving them an awareness of what does happen and how awful some things are, really, eh, Michaela?
For people listening, we should say that Michaela is a Year 7 student, Form 1 in Old Language, and she is there in the picture beside Rebecca to support her. She's a bit shy about talking on the radio, but she has been absolutely a big part of this project. So congratulations, Michaela. And Rebecca, how did it all work?
We talked about the importance of how you act and the impact that one behaviour can have, and so I got the children to think about who the two girls' actions impacted, and so they obviously, the first thing they came up with was Nancy, and all I said was, and who else, and so they just kept going wider and wider, and as a result have kind of come to a realisation that one action can make a huge difference in somebody's life, whether that be positive or negative.
Yeah, and the positive is so important. And the kids wanted to demonstrate that by helping Nancy. And yesterday I showed their ideas and suggestions to Nancy, and she was a bit overwhelmed by it all. So, Rebecca, what were the children offering to do?
All sorts of things. They wanted to buy her flowers and send her a card. They wanted to sing to her. They wanted her to know somehow that not all kids were like that, and that they wanted to send her hugs. Don't ask me how you send hugs in the mail, but they wanted to do that. They wanted to get her a new car because her car had been stolen, and we talked about ways that we could go to car dealers, and we might not be able to do it by ourselves, but we could be at the centre and we could start the ripple outwards and get other people involved with just one small action. They came up with things like they didn't know if someone was feeding her pets while she was in hospital or paying her bills, because a lot of these kids come from houses where things are pretty tight, and they know that if you don't pay your power bill, your power gets cut off and things like that. So they were looking at things like paying for her bills while she was in hospital, or getting someone to clean her house and mow her lawn so it was nice when she came home. Yeah, so lots of things that I wouldn't have thought of myself.
No, or me. And Rebecca, you talk about these kids coming from homes where they don't have much. So this kind of generosity is really meaningful, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's just, you know, the people that have less tend to give more. And it was just, it was really heartening that they had no qualms about, okay, we need to do something, and this is what we want to do.
That is Rebecca Stevens. She's the principal of Mauriceville School, which is not too far north of Masterton. And beside her, very bravely supporting her, is Michaela, who's going to be a famous artist when she grows up. And we are passing on all their cards and drawings and everything to Nancy. In fact, they're going to send them directly to Nancy themselves.